Welcome to our live stream.
Welcome, welcome. Here we are, giving the people what they wanted, giving the people what they need. They say, we want you two together in the same room. And here we are. So we will give everybody a moment to roll in, a couple of moments, and shoot the whoop. Popping open our studio chat. Not the studio chat, the live stream chat, excuse me. So we can see what are the people saying and who's joining us in the Other Sun live stream. So it's been an interesting month. I know as people roll in, they'll just pick up on the conversation, but just to kind of talk about, people have been saying it's really hot. We've been focused on the solar plexus. I remember going to the health food store and someone saying, it's a sauna outside. And they said it 3 times, mind you. They were in the store. Like, are you suffering from trauma from the heat? And she was sharing with me how it's starting to feel like Florida. I'm like, too late. I'm a Floridian. I know about this. And then she continues complaining, and I said, ma'am, there's a reason why it's hot like this. We're going through the solar maximum. We're at the peak of the solar maximum within the 11-year cycle. And like, we're literally in it in the month of July. And it's planetary stuff happening,
Yes.
shifting of consciousness. And then so she gets on board with it, and she begins to say, oh, you're right. We've got to shift. We got to change. Lots of changes are happening. I'm like, you better get on board. You better get on board, because I didn't say this part because it doesn't sound like she's on board. I was like, she's burned up. I can't with this sun, even though she's indoors. So with that being said, we're talking about the solar plexus a little bit, the recap. But for those who are joining in, welcome, welcome, and Lakesh and Veritas, everyone. Our topic today, we're going to be speaking about one mind, the universal mind, the connectivity and communication, telepathic communication with other sentient forms of life, and exploring that topic. And before we dive into it, LaOta, do you have any thoughts on the recap with light body movement for solar plexus?
I would love to talk about what is happening with the solar maximum and our solar plexus. The idea that as below, so above, or as above, so below, we are the opportunity to resuscitate our solar plexus in the solar maximum. And it makes so much sense when you look at it like that. It makes sense that we all know that we are not all that we could be, but that forces have conspired to minimize and make us smaller than we are, and that this is the universe's response by bringing us to a time where we can we can retrieve, we can resuscitate, we can breathe back into our blueprint, who we are. And
Yes.
so there may be some heat involved.
Yeah, you gotta burn some old things up that
Yeah, there may
don't
be,
resonate with the new
yeah,
identity.
there may be some heat involved. There may be some shaking involved. There may be some hot things happening. There may be some water.
All the elements. That's what it sounds like. Add a little fire, add a little water, add a little earth, add a little air.
Oh, what did you just make? A human?
Hold on, let me add that ether. Here we go.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
That's what we are made of, and that all of that has to be addressed.
It's interesting.
The the air, the animating force that animates our consciousness and our physical bodies, the earth that we stand upon, who contains everything, including everything that we are. That's what our bodies are made from, the things that are on this earth. The fire, which is the synapses jumping in our brain. It's the electrical portion of our hearts. It's the electricity that runs through our veins. All of that is being resuscitated in the greater magnitude, in the maximum. And then we are operating in the minimum of that, or in the whole of it, and then the whole hologram of it. Yes. And every gram of us is the whole of us. This is that moment. So solar body activation is incumbent. It's time.
Yes.
If you miss this window, it might be what, 13,000 years before the next
I
time.
don't know what to tell you. Get it while it's hot. But
We are on a cycle.
everything that you're saying, though, it just makes so much
Yes.
sense. It's right in front of our faces. The idea of solar plexus, the idea that the solar plexus is associated with the identity, the sun. It gives us life, the archetypes of what, or the characteristics of the archetype of the sun, and how everything is peachy if we were to embody such a thing.
We are persons.
And the list goes on.
Yes,
You know, so
it really is that truth, and we have just been. It's like our saliva. We pay no attention, but we need to, because it helps us digest our food. It helps us lubricate our mouths. It makes everything else work. If the saliva doesn't work, nothing else is going to work. So we pay no attention to these things, but they are significant and very much in our face. We are in that moment of time. If you were born, you're here now and born for whatever contribution you will give to this.
I want to share someone's testimonial from the class, and before I do, just saying Invocation Veritas to everyone who's joining us. We got quite a few people who are joining us. Just gonna acknowledge the chat really quick. We got Inlakesh Studio 1 as usual, and she's always in person here. Diane of the Sun, aka Dancing Lady.
Yeah, she's the dancing lady.
Mario of the Sun, Inlakesh Veritas, Charm,
Mario.
Lauren, Madame Noir. She says Inlakesh and Veritas fam. Gina, Inlakesh Veritas with a ton of flagrant emojis. Cecilia, Inlakesh and Veritas. Devrin, lots of beautiful emojis that is informing us that you're with us. Russ, Inlakesh and Veritas Russ. Shout out to Aluca Gold. Russ is part of Aluca, our sponsor for the Call for the Other Sun live stream. We also have Patchouli Fairy, as usual, in Inlakesh and Veritas. Aha, just giving eye emojis. I'm watching you guys. Russ. Russ is coming with questions out the gate. Do we acknowledge Mercury in retrograde?
Do you want me to answer that?
Please, because I mean, I got thoughts. I'd like. May I begin, and then I'll pass the ball to you. I have a personal perspective on it. See, I give acknowledgement to the celestial bodies and respect to them, but in my earlier years of spirituality, and I still see it, fear around Mercury retrograde. Like, oh no, Mercury's retrograde, don't do nothing new. Don't start nothing, don't mess with electronics, and don't start to erase your business. It's victimhood, and it doesn't really resonate with striving to be a multidimensional being or operating as fourth, fifth dimensional. And it's not that we don't give acknowledgement to these things, but I think that it's important to ensure that we're not giving over power, and we work within the motions of the energies. So whether Mercury is in retrograde or not, I will start something new if my guidance prompts me. But I also know that we don't have to be a victim of the celestial bodies. And as a matter of fact, like, we can almost override things, you know, we can will ourselves. But that's my take on it, in striving to be more of my higher dimensional self.
I love this question, and I love what you have to say. The off-world beings who brought us this science, who taught it to Copernicus, and then later on to all of the great Greek mathematicians, it was not incorrect, but it is not destiny. It is an option of what will happen when you do not exercise your will to do something else. Like, if you do nothing, Mercury's in retrograde.
It's going to be retrograding.
However, astrology is a map for the third dimensional man who has two strands of DNA and lives in a world where he has been minimized and lost control, and his blueprint is not activated. It is a map to navigate. This is a gift from the cosmos for those who are bumping into walls. We are not those people. You start getting your soul cleared. You start doing work to elevate yourself. You start moving towards obtainment. You pop out of needing the map for the ones who are blind, deaf, and dumb. It's not an insult. It is a reality of we have to recognize what has been done to us so that we can move beyond it. If we don't recognize that our parents, our grandparents, and their parents before them were all sick and addicted to alcohol and doing all the things they were doing, waiting to get their gold watch, and that is not life. If we don't recognize that that's not enough, then we get to keep that. So we have to really get to the point where we understand our recent history, that we can remember what is written, and what we can find is an example of man at his lowest experience. Even though people like to think we're better than we've ever been, there's never been less people who are sick. We've got iPhones, we've got computers.
Like, get that shit out of here.
It would be good if we had some that didn't kill us. How about that? How about we have some technology that doesn't hurt us? So the level that we are operating at, look at the condition of our world. This is the level that we are operating at in the third dimension with astrology that we have had for thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of years. How has knowing about Mercury retrograde helped us?
I'm not going to answer that.
Oh, okay.
but I'll say
I'll
this.
wait.
Yeah, I know. You're going to be way in. So Russ actually responded back saying, and I like this, it's like a weather report, ? And I actually feel like it's like that. And when I saw the comment, I thought to myself, yeah, it may rain, but the way I operate, it doesn't often stop me. Or like, for example, some people allow themselves to be susceptible to being gloomy and dragging themselves energetically because it's raining, and like the sun still shines within, right? This is being a sovereign being. You don't just stop and acquiesce to the rain. No shade to the rain. We're in harmony.
It's wonderful. And I like what he said too. It's just really a matter of point of view. It doesn't matter if it rains. The earth needs rain. It doesn't matter whether, it doesn't change what I will do or what I will go, or it might change whether I have an umbrella. Maybe not. Like the weather report has been wrong for the last several weeks. The weather report for Atlanta has said it's raining every day and it's shining sunny outside. So it is not really about that. It's more, yes, it is a weather report, and it's not inaccurate. The planets are aligned that way, and it is the truth. But whether you are to be manipulated because of that understanding is another thing. So I get text messages from people who know that I'm not an astrology person, so they let me know. Mercury's in retrograde, we want to just let you know. And I'm like, I'm informed. I have that information, and it means nothing to me.
Yeah, it's giving Scooby-Doo shaking knees. Like, I can't do it. But then again, we have to consider this is the disposition of a person who is operating higher dimensionally, where we speak a lot about sovereignty, where sovereignty means sovereign. We're stretching. And there is matriculation of growth. We're in varying levels and degrees, right? We're still here on the earth. But the reality that we understand that we don't have to be victim to a Mercury retrograde or any type of celestial event. And although some are beneficial too, like cosmic solar flares, like, cause I'd be out there like, yeah, come on now, DNA, mitochondria, melanin, right? But at the same time, like, no.
I love that this topic came up, and it came up so authentically, and with Russ having the right disposition towards it, it really leads right into our real topic, which is one mind. If I'm going to go out, and I do sometimes in the rain, in the thunderstorms, if I am choosing to go out there, I'm choosing to go out as part of the rain. Like, I'm water, you water. let's get watery.
Yeah, I want to share something.
Yeah.
This is making me think of an experience I had years ago, back when we were in the Fort Myers location, and you were doing the water talks. Matter of fact, you got a water talk coming up this Sunday.
Yeah.
Water 22. Everyone, LaOta does her monthly self-healing class on the elements, making humans. And this Sunday, speaking about, there's a lot of flooding going on, so we're going to really be talking about those topics. But my point is, it was some time ago, several years back, and you were sharing this idea of how all the millions of raindrops, you're not separate from it. And I
Right.
remember going outside one day, I was in the downtown city streets, and I just stared and looked up, and I could feel my oneness. Like,
Yes.
I'm not afraid to be in the water, in the rain, and it. Oh, even as I think about it, I'm feeling slightly emotional because I can feel the connectivity that this is me. I'm part of this greater system, But again, we're not necessarily taught that. We're taught, you were saying in that time that there are songs that people make about I can't stand the rain, and so on and so forth,
Yeah.
that insinuate separation.
That insinuates separation, and it insinuates that you are not that. So when I love what is being said by Russ, because he's saying the weather report, but you are the determinant of the weather in your life. You determine whether you will be sunny or you will not be, whether it rains or whether it doesn't. So yes, it is the weather report for those who need direction with their disposition. But if you have already decided that you're going to live in a sunny day for the rest of your life, it's always going to be a great day to go do whatever you need to do. It's always going to move in your favor. The path is always clear. And if you get wet, you just get more of yourself.
That's power right there.
So that's the idea of all of that. It is to the benefit of humanity, especially the third dimensional man with 2 strands of DNA who has not yet awakened. Read your horoscope. Let it help you determine, because there is danger until you become sovereign. There is.
Certainly. Thank you, Russ, kicking us off, because we were just chit-chatting about the month. And thank you and welcome everyone who's joining us in the live stream today. It's LaOta of the Sun, Tarvars of the Sun, the luminary, the radiant one. And we are here. We're talking about one mind reconnection. And I want LaOta to lay a little groundwork on this. We've spoken about the one mind, the universal mind, and our connection, and how humans have been disconnected. I don't want to say too much because I want you to speak more on it, but we are having a class
Feel
that
free, go right ahead.
I'll speak a little bit, but LaOta is teaching a class. This actually was a service, strictly a service of helping us reconnect to the universal one mind, because we're not quite tapped in, and I think it's obvious. It's like we might have blips, but there isn't a real connection. So she would create this etheric connection for us where we can manually make the connection, and through our manual making the connection, we would strengthen our bandwidth of the connectivity to the universal one mind. I hope you follow, right? And with that being said, over the years, after doing the service for some time, she cultivated it into an actual class, which this is the second round of the class, where not only will she be doing the reconnective process, but also showing you how to work this thing, and this idea of working within the universal one mind, primarily for communication and guidance, speaking to trees, animals, your guidance, insects, spaces and places. Actually, the work that we do here at Of the Sun, such as quantum light property clearing, it takes place within one mind, because when we go into spaces and places, it's often incumbent upon us to interface with the actual space, meaning communicate. Like, hey, space, what's going on? Will you be on board with me for the clearing? Or being open and receptive to communication, because the space will show you glimpses of experiences that have taken place, or there may be literal verbal communication. But all of this takes place within the frequency of one mind. So that's a bit of a setup. I didn't know I was going to take it there, but would you set it? First off, let's go back. One mind. Where did this all start?
Oh, you want me to give
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah. Excuse me. Will you take us back? Because you all, every time I ask you a question, you always say, "Well, we got to start at the beginning." And then our camera lady says, "In the beginning." She said it
So,
again.
I would like everyone to relax and to get out your pretend popcorn and to get comfortable in your seats. I'm going to tell you a story. And I encourage you all to close your eyes and go deeply into the story. When humanity was seated on this planet was known as a living library where those who were living on the lion planet sent emissaries here. Those who lived on the giraffe planet sent emissaries. The planet of Father Tree sent trees here. And this was meant to be a place where we would all interact and we would all come here in the knowingness that we were all one in the library to enjoy, expand, and ascend with each other. It was a cosmic opportunity that had not existed before. This planet is very special. Everyone who was seated here, brought forward here, their blueprint was established here. That was our original design. So here we are in our setting, and we're all on this beautiful, this exquisite water planet. And we're all having this experience of knowing we're one. So here you are, you're one of the beings. Transport yourself to being one of the beings on this planet in its infancy. And you're moving through the landscape, and everywhere you go, you see something. So you look down at your feet, and you see grass. And the grass is telling you about where it's from. Like, I'm from the planet of grasslands, and we have the strength of the greenness. We bring vitality to all soil, and it's telling you all the things that it does, and then you're sharing with it who you are. I am a solar being. I am a person. I am part of the sun. I'm one of the two polarities of creation. I am the one that gives the information. I am the divine masculine. I am the divine feminine. And so happy to meet you, Mr. Grass. And then it goes on. You walk into the forest and you see the trees, and the trees are beautiful and in support and so stately. And you say, wow, how beautiful you are. And they say, yes, we are here for your beautification. We are here to give you the beauty that we have so that you may be greater and expanded. And then you say to them, and I am here as both polarities of creation, the divine feminine that is everything, and the divine masculine that gives direction. And here we are together as one. Wow, this planet is amazing. And then you, as you move through the process, you move to a pond and you see the water, and you look at the aspects of water as it moves. You see the clarity, you see the reflection, you see the intelligence, you see that it is life itself. And then you recognize, as you look at the water, that the water looks back at you and says, oh, you are me. It is, the water is who you are. You are 70% of the water. The water is you. And you see yourself in reflection. And then you see the intelligence. You see that water always wins every argument. It goes around, it goes under, it erodes whatever's in its way. It wins every argument. And you are water. And you move through this storyland looking at all the beautiful flowers. And you go to the flowers and you look at them and they say, would you like a healing? And you say, whoa, you got healing? They say, we are here to elevate and to heal. Bring us to those who are sad, to those who you want to make happy, to those who need healing. We will do that. And then you say, oh, I am also part of that understanding. I'm also one with that. I also have the ability through my thoughts and through my behavior to help heal others. And then you see that you are one. And in your oneness, you become greater. So now you are one with the grass, with the trees, with the water, with the flowers. You are one with all that is. So then you breathe in the air, and the air is alive and animated and intelligent and conscious. and it fills your lungs with power for your next thoughts and words. It goes into your brain and helps you jump the synapses to make you think better. You are inspired as you inhale. And now you are one with the air. You are one with the land. And all things follow the same direction. So you may come back from our storyland now. Did you all like that story?
I want to check on the chat and see if anyone's following. No comments yet, but looks like we have a number of people who are joining. The numbers continue to increase. And for anyone who may have been following, it was quite the experience. I want to share some of my thoughts.
Would you?
It was beautiful. When somewhere a quarter of the way in, I decided to raise myself up into one mind. And my guidance started saying something to me. And that's a story outside of this podcast. I'm going to just put it like this. They said, finally. Because I've been dancing in one mind as much as they would like me to for where I'm looking to go. But so while I'm there, I'm seeing what you're saying. I'm seeing the communication. But then somewhere in the middle, I feel this disruption inside of me. And I see, oh my, I see contrast. I see the hijacking of our minds. I see the disconnection of the one mind, the lack of reverence and even acknowledgement of the different life forms. How many times do we go outside and we just see trees and don't say anything? Especially those that are in our yard.
You step on the grass. Someone came to where I live and they said, we're going to put down gravel. Do you want us to kill the grass? I said, no, do not. Not only do I not want you to, you can't come back here if you do that.
Yeah.
Don't come back on this property if you plan on killing the grass.
Yeah, this bombastic side eye.
Yeah.
Leave.
Yes.
But this is a real thing. I'm also thinking about the times that insects and animals, they come up to us or they're in our purview where we can see them, and they're not just there. There's a literal disconnect.
Yes.
Where the information that's supposed to be exchanged, because that's what's happening in the narrative that you're sharing, there's an exchange in the system. And in the exchange, there's an enrichment of the soul and an expansion and knowledge that happens, but
Yes.
that is not happening for the majority of humanity.
And for most of humanity, it is not only unacceptable, it's an unacceptable reality. Like, I am a human. You want me to talk to the grass? It's like that, which is really a misunderstanding. Everything that is here is one with us. So in the One Mind class, we talk about these experiences and we take you through these understandings. Not too long ago, when I was doing the DNA reconnection class, I had one person who was being reconnected, and she had an extraordinary experience. The day after she had she had DNA reconnection, which is related to this, because that is the beginning of activating the 12 strands from the 2 strands that have been left in humanity. She went out and sat on the ground on a blanket, and she took a journal and she wrote 34 pages of what Mother Earth had to say to her. And she had never done anything like that before. But it's really this idea, not everyone will have that experience, but those who want it can have it. At the very least, you can sit on the earth and ask to feel the mother's heartbeat. And I will be doing that in class with everyone. So at the very least, it is possible for you to tap into as we say, with all that is, it is flowing through us now. All that is what is animating you. It is the air, it is all of the elements that animate and make your body be able to work, but you are not your body. But your body came here to be in communion with this library experience of being able to be, like, you could barely get across a yard without having 50 conversations that were inspiring and delightful and expansive and making friends. And this idea that we talked about last time of being alone is just not the truth. And the grass and the plants and the flowers and the trees know us. You grow up with trees in your backyard, they know who you are.
I want to speak to that.
Yes.
There are so many times when I pop myself into that state of just, hey, everybody. And it always has the feeling of, oh, there he goes. Now he's attentive. You know, they're not necessarily saying that, but it's the feeling of, oh, look who's engaged, right? No shade on me, but it's always welcoming, but it's also, oh, there he goes.
They know us. They know we're of the sun. You know, they know us when we when we walk down the street and we admire something beautiful. They know who we are.
You know, I think that's fascinating. I'm thinking about how everything is interconnected, because I have these experiences when I'm driving down the road, and sometimes I'll not necessarily like doing a power activation of Inlakesh, but a heartfelt greeting to the trees. I'm like, Inlakesh, and like I feel them, but there's also that sense of they know me.
They do
and
know you.
It's this. I'd like you to speak on this greater web of interconnectivity that is always happening. And I actually want us to go a little deeper, where, for example, we speak about when we're communicating with a single life form, we're connecting to the morphic field or the collective consciousness of that life form. It's not just a singular, it's a unified field. I'm getting deep, but I think this is where the people want to go. This is what you want. So would you?
All right. So this is the masculine in detriment that runs our world cannot see how it is that I can talk to an ant or a roach, because they are like, it doesn't have a brain, because they think it has something to do with the brain.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the brain. They think that because Walt Disney made animals talk, that it's all fake and cartoon. But the reality is, and I have had so many experiences with this, sometimes I'll see a tiny, tiny, tiny microscopic ant. And I'll have the thought, are you lost? You're by yourself. And then I'll see the ant nurse who has wings come into my psychic vision and let me know I got them. You know,
Yeah.
so there is everything is conscious. Now, everything is not, especially with insects at the second dimensional level, everything is not conscious the way we are, but everything can transmit to you a thought that you could be receptive to if you would allow yourself to be. If you would let yourself hear what Mother Earth has to say and you asked her to speak to you, she will speak to you. You know, if you won't let yourself hear it, then you'll be sitting there in the grass having a lovely day without that communication, you know, which is what most of us have done.
So when I hear you say this, one of the things that comes to mind is whether or not a person believes that that is even a possibility, because people are in varying levels of their acceptance of this, where they may want to hug a tree, and because there's some understanding that it's alive and it's sentient, but they may be in a space where, oh, I don't quite hear. There was actually one of our clients and / students recently who mentioned, I would always say hi to the trees, but I would never listen because I don't think that she understood that she was capable of receiving the information. I don't know if it was maybe she didn't believe that her gifts were quite there, or if it was even possible, but I know that there are people in that space who
it's really not even a matter of gifts. It's really not.
Yeah, speak on that, because
it's not,
you know, it
even
sounds like it's you gotta work the muscle, but
it's not even a matter of that. It's ridding yourself of whatever detriment has made you think that you are not everything. What makes you think that you are not all the things that are here?
Well, the system that we live in.
Yes,
is really the.
And so that is what has to be gotten rid of. It is not that you have to go live in a cave and develop and fast and get to the highest levels. If all of you have had the experience where you have been intensely sad and asked for help, and help has come. Almost every human has had that experience where, like, oh, I need help. And if you do it over a body of water, the water will respond to you and give you the power that you need to help you stop crying. And you'll get the thought, oh, I know, I'll go talk to my aunt. Or you'll get the thought that the water is giving you, or you get the thought that the wind is whispering to you, or you get the thought that the sun has shined on you. We just don't realize it's not a cartoon. So it's not going to be a voice out of the sky. It's going to be the next thought you have.
All right, so we make jokes about this all the time, but can we consider that a download? I think it, but
if you have to, if you insist.
I gotta download.
If you insist.
But the thing is, like, people say, this is my thing with it. No offense to anybody, but often we're looking to demystify what seems fantastical because people utilize that phrase as if it's a one-off, but really you're constantly in a stream of information. It's whether or not you're picking up on it.
And it is also your will to do so.
That part.
You know, can you wait to get up in the morning? I can't wait to get up and go out and be in the sun and ask for my coating and get myself.
I saw you this morning out there. I was like, look at her getting them rays.
I can't wait to get up and see what's going to come from the forest to talk to me. I can't wait to have the richness of the experience of humans and those things that are not human, because that's the idea of being on the planet. We're on the planet with other forms of life, other consciousness, other aspects of creation, and the idea was to be expanded by them. The trees are very wise. They can help you with whatever it is. The morphic field of the intelligence of the consciousness. Just think about how many trees are on this planet. That number gives you the level of wisdom and power that is available to you. It's the same with every other aspect. How much earth. I have spoken to those who brought in the earth, and their understanding, and then the consciousness is so massive. There's so much. Just being in the presence of that type of consciousness is impressive and dwarfs what we know. And then you are automatically like, I'm so happy you're talking to me. You know, like, thank you. I'm glad you came to this conversation, because you could have sent an email. You know, 'cause I get it. I don't know if I'm an equal contributor here. You know, so I have been in those kinds of conversations with many things, and it is available to us, and it is what makes life worth living. People are great. Other things are too.
That's beautiful. I want to jump into the chat really quick just to see, because we got a lot of activity in the chat. Looks like people were responding on the story time. I'm going to share some of those responses. Okay. But as I do, I'm going to back it up. Madame Noir says, I love the rain. Angela says hi. Lauren says yes. Ease, beautiful and intriguing story of creation. Stacy says, gratitude is the only response for me. Lauren, that story, oh, hold on. Every time a new comment comes in the chat, it changes up. You all keep chatting, and then I won't be able to read these. I'm going to try to hurry up. That story was a journey of remembrance. Stacy says, dance as the blades of grass, the flow on the breeze of the wind, the strength as the tree. Andrea says, you are a gift, LaOta. She puts a little heart emoji.
Thank you.
Shayna, peace and blessings, tribe. What's up, Shayna? Welcome. Russ has another question. It looks like Julianne has a question as well.
Before we take the questions, I'd like to mention from one of the comments, when someone said the story was a remembrance, that's the point. We have to remember to ourselves. We have to join back on to be the member of ourselves. We must remember, we don't have to be someone else. We don't have to reach for what is out of our reach. We have to get quiet and remember. Who are you? Remember you are a solar being, that you have a solar plexus. You are light itself that has been extinguished but can be recalled. I love that. Thank you so much for bringing that forward, and I'll be happy to take the questions.
Yeah, just a little tidbit on that. This remembering, it's making me think of peeling back the layers that, it's not necessarily that we're adding on something new. We're removing, as you asked the question, what is it that's stopping us from speaking? And it's the overlay of society and this matrix that we're in, and take it off.
Yeah, and guess what?
Take it off.
We're big enough for it.
Hell yeah, because
I'm big enough to remember. You're big enough too.
We just did a pre-recording of soul contracts, so that's going to be up. Check that out once it drops, and that's what comes to mind when you say I'm big enough. Like, we chose to come here to be in this space to, from what I see, re-anchor in this understanding, to bring it back to life, to resuscitate it through talking to life.
Or to be part of the deconstruction process and deconstruct the buildings and the structures and the laws and the things that have enslaved us, all the banking. Let us get on board with that.
Most certainly.
Because otherwise, everything stays the same and gets worse. So whatever part you're here to play, if you came here to die next year and part of your leaving here will be to make the rest of us free, yes, thank you so much. That's in your record, and we will see that. Your record will show that you have dedicated your life to help save the rest of us. It's a good thing. There is no death.
Message. All right, so we'll go to Russ with the question. Will we say that consciousness is the functioning / defining component of human nature? And how does one mind set within this construct?
Consciousness is the defining structure of all of life. Of all of life. There is no life that is not conscious. Even those who make things, who make tables and chairs and dolls and benches, their consciousness is then transferred into that. So whoever made your car, their consciousness is transferred into it. Somebody made your house and they were mad and they were hammering in the nails, then that house now has the consciousness of not only the legal owners through contract, but also the workers in the house. And if it was intense energy on the negative or positive, it is imprinted into the house because all things are conscious. Everything has some level of consciousness. What the consciousness from creation generally has soul. There are those who lose that privilege, but everything that is from creation, your cucumbers, your tomatoes, your yellow squash, all have levels of consciousness. That's why you can talk to them. And that's why we recommend that you talk to them and ask them to raise themselves back up to their original blueprint, as we ourselves are trying to get back to our original sun blueprint. Like, raise up, cucumber, give me the life from the original blueprint. Don't give me any of that genetically modified thing that you've been programmed with. Go back to the beginning and bring me that. Let me eat that. And then you and I will be one. And I'll give you Inlakesh, and you can release your suffering, and you'll give me the blueprint that you had, and then we'll both be better together.
This is bringing to mind a couple of different things. I almost want to take it even deeper. Shall we go deeper, y'all? What came to mind was a client, student of yours. I think she was in the sun calibration class. This is the class that LaOta teaches for programming your body, or actually identifying your body's intelligent yes and no response for discernment. And she mentioned something that was tangential to the class, though. She said you had taught her how to speak to her vegetables, her fruits, to return it back to its original DNA and blueprint. And she said when she ate it, her reaction, you could tell it was so real and authentic, because she was like, ooh, it was so crispy. And she just sighed in awe of the experience. And so my reason for bringing that up is the deeper truth of reality, how life responds to us when we speak to it. It does things. but we've been conditioned and programmed to think that it doesn't, as though it's like everyth's dead. So, there's a dancing lady. I see you, dancing lady. I chose the wrong time for us to go deeper. My bad, y'all. Like, you gotta go deeper earlier. Hold your breaths. But if you could elaborate on that, and then we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and then we'll start wrapping up.
Okay. So it is recommended for all of you who listen to know that what is being done to nature, to the planet, to our food, and to us, we can stop it. That there is no conglomeration of armies. There are no reverse engineered alien. There are no there is no secret weapon. There's no spy equipment that can stop us from being who we want to be if we choose to be that. If we all rise up together, and even if we aren't all together, if a small group of us with the clear intention direct our energy into not acquiescing to the many layers in which we're being poisoned and we're being pushed around and hurted, it cannot happen. It only happens because we, at some level, allow or permit it to happen. If I decide you're not going to have what I will not give you, you're not going to take from me what I don't give you, and that all that is ever taken from me is what I relinquish. There is nothing that we're not going to tussle over this. That's not how this is going to go, is that I am solid enough, I have enough integrity in my bones, in my body, in my mind to hold on to whatever I want to hold on to, and I have enough clarity to release what I'm willing to release for whatever my own reasons are. So when we are talking to our food, Monsanto don't have nothing on the intelligence of the divine food that was made by the divine mother, that was made to give your divine precious body the nutrients it needs. Monsanto can't interfere with that. If you talk to the food, like, get out of here, Monsanto. GMO, levels of peel, all of that, none of that trumps you and I are one, cucumber. You be who you're supposed to be, return to your original blueprint, and then help me be what you were designed to be, and then I will be what I was designed to be. There is nothing that is more pure, more perfect, and more powerful than that. That's the same way what a family should be. That's how a family should work, is that your integrity holds you together. It is your love that protects you. It is your clarity that protects you. It is your devotion to your own soul, to your own knowing who you are, to your own purity. I'm not sure if I answered what you were asking. And I'm not sure if I finished answering Russ' question.
I didn't even really take the question to where I wanted to, but we got enough. That really capped us off. And we're going to wrap up after this quick commercial break to conclude this idea about one mind. But if you all would stay with us for 40 seconds, we're going to play a commercial from our sponsors, from Aluca Inc., Aluca Gold, and they specialize in financial services. Bear with me just a few seconds. Let's make sure we have... And we'll be right back with you in about 40 to 50 seconds.
If you're a conscious investor looking to make a difference, you need to hear about Aluca Gold. Because doing good and doing well isn't just a dream, it's our promise. Let's face it, everyone wants their money to work harder. But what if your gold investment could do double duty? Aluca Gold is more than just precious metal. We're committed to ethical sourcing and total transparency, so you know exactly where your gold comes from, and who it helps. Every ounce you invest helps support real miners and their communities with humanitarian projects and fair wages. That's not just good business, it's good for the world. You get solid, physical gold, plus the pride of knowing your investment brings hope and opportunity to families who need it most. So why settle for ordinary returns when you can spark extraordinary change? Invest with purpose. Invest with Aluca Gold. Do good, do well, and let your gold investment shine brighter than ever.
All right, shout out to alucainc.com. These are our sponsors for the Of the Sun live stream podcast, and we actually have Russ Goldstein on board. He's always, it seems like he's usually in the chat. He's also a director of business development for the company. And Aluca Gold, they specialize in wealth asset protection, taxes, precious metals. They're in Dubai. They're doing big things over there. So if you're looking for any forms of asset protection, these are our people. They are of the sun. This isn't just some random people who are sponsoring us. So support them if you're looking for that type of service. Again, the website is alucainc.com. That's ALLUCAINC.com. So we thank you all again. Hook us up with some of that gold. we know what you all are doing over there. All right, so we thank you all for sticking with us. It seems like there's still quite a few people in the live stream, lots of people in the chat, and we're about to wrap things up here. And I want to go to at least another question. I want to bring up some more comments, just general comments of people shouting things out. Keith is saying, great knowledge and information. We have Gina, thank you for the story. It was so wonderful. I absolutely love dancing in the rain. I tell everybody they should do the same. That kind of rhymed.
Yeah, it does.
Sounded real good, Gina. Thank you. She sends heart emojis. And then Lauren is sending fire emojis. Russ says, better watch who is cooking your food. All right, so we have a question coming from Juliana, and this is very much in support of the idea of one mind. And before we go to the question, just again, general reminder for everyone, LaOta of the Sun is hosting her One Mind class. This is a 3-day class. Each day is an hour and a half, from 6 p.m. Eastern to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And she's going to do the reconnection for you to manually pop yourself into the hub, the connective hub of the universal mind. And this will be a method that you can use to continue to build upon, to strengthen and expand your bandwidth so you can sustain the frequency or awareness within that space. It's a very real thing that it does require working the muscle, but once you start popping yourself in, recognize you can always be in one mind. It's just a matter of your will and your decision or desire. And so this class is starting on the second week of August on a Tuesday. You can visit the Of the Sun website, www.ofthesun.com. Very straightforward. On the home page, scroll down, you'll see all the classes that we have coming up. Lots of new things. And for those who are looking to become a quantum light property clearer, this is one of the prerequisites. Because for us to do what we do, connect with the space, communicate with the space, communicate with infestations, spoiler alert, that's precog, that's with our question, communicate with different life forms, it requires us to be connected to the one mind. So with that being said, where's your question?
Julianne.
I'm looking for it. It's just that when the comments come in, then the chat changes. Okay, here we are. Julianne. Julianne says, insects are sacred. What if termites are eating your house? Send them love. Find the right frequencies to create a better environment. And to have spirit guides too. She sends prayer hands. So I think that we got a lot that we can speak on specifically regarding termites, property clearing stories, one mind. Where would you like to go with this?
The idea that people have that you can just hug it out and send everything love, how's that working? That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about actual calm yourself, bring yourself up, get into a meditative state, and ask them, why are they there? Not everybody's house is being eaten. Termites can get wherever they want to go. So not everybody's house has an infestation. So they're coming there. We don't understand that the second dimensional world is attempting, that what we do drives them to us because it's out of order. Something's going on that's out of order in the structure, or the people who live in the structure, on the land itself, or what was done to the land. We're property clearers, so we know what the history of the land is. We can ascertain that. We know what kind of language was spoken in the house. We can tell why something would be happening there. We know that positive energy keeps things better longer. And we can see that from the structures that still exist in Europe, 400 or 500 years old. We can see that when people have positive energy in that place, that there's no war energy in there, then it holds together better than if it had war energy. So everything, termites and everything else, is coming because there's something there. In many cases, we see drug abuse and addiction pulls forward many levels of second dimensional insect attention to assist us, to let us know, to say to us, if you continue this behavior, we will deconstruct this building. We will eat it away. We will make sure it falls apart. There won't be any cement between the bricks. You know, there's going to be water leaks. They will deconstruct it because that is the energy of deconstruction taking place in it.
Got some thoughts on this because I also see the person in the deconstruction, like let me just take it back. To build on what you were saying about how these insects, they are being drawn, I see frequency resonance. And it's not so much a negative. It makes me think about things like disease and cancer, where it is communicating, and oftentimes we're not getting the message.
You're reading my mind.
That's because I'm in one mind. For real.
And then we only have one mind between us.
Yeah, it's one mind.
All of us.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know one mind. But this point of really what I'm looking to speak to is how oftentimes we see things like termites or insects as just solely a negative, specifically infestation, but as you're saying, it's drawing to us through resonance, but it's also communicating something. It's
Yes.
trying to get our attention, and we have found that we have stories on termites and clearing them, but specifically in general with infestations, that we can clear them and they will leave, but in some cases they don't because the occupants have not gotten the message. And it can be the same way with disease in the body that's attempting to communicate change of behavior, as you mentioned, because correction needs to be made.
Absolutely. Whether cells are growing out of control or whether your house is being infected with, raccoons, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, or chipmunks. You got some
I do have some
about
chipmunk stories.
chipmunks.
So, and people call us for all of those things. The reality is that we treat it like saliva. We don't stop and say, why are you here?
Yeah.
We don't stop and ask the ants, why are you here? Or consider that the spiders may have babies and the mother may be needing a place for them to live. Or sometimes when we talk to things, when I talked to an infestation of chipmunks, it was winter in Chicago and she was in someone's attic and they had called in 2 or 3, they'd called in shamans, they'd called in clearers, and they called us and we spoke directly to them. And she said, I'm here, I have my babies here, where do you want us to go? And the owner had shared with me that he did not want them on the location, and I asked her if she would go, and she said yes. And then I found out 2 weeks later she went next door, and she was in the attic of his neighbor. Because we don't consider that they also have life.
Yeah.
And they also must protect life. And I've had the same story happen with ants, where there was a infestation in the house, and there was the owner didn't want to see them, and I spoke to the mother ant, and she says, I have my whole colony. And the owner was like, well, I just don't want to see you. So we negotiated a treaty where the ants would be in the basement and they would not be seen. But the mother could stay and continue to be life, which was appropriate. These things are not bad or dirty, or it's not the way humans think of them. In the same way that there was a time that people would hunt humans if they saw them on the road and try to stomp them out. So we have to consider that Have we learned this behavior from those who have mistreated us?
We most
Where
certainly
we have to close all the doors and kill everything?
and all their family and
All
children
their
and
family,
offspring
and have no consideration. But that is karmic, by the way. That is karmic.
that intentional
Killing of
vindictive
life,
killing.
because creation is life. Consciousness is life. So if you make it a point, if it has been in our history as humanity that we have been wiped out and there has been genocide upon different people in humanity, this is what we have learned that is in the mass consciousness. So now we find ourselves trying to kill all the bugs and letting our children jump up and down on insects and letting them do these kinds of things because this is how we have been conditioned.
I just had a funny thought, and you segued into it. This is one of my things funny. I saw a woman on TikTok say something about, for a first date, take your partner to the park, to a nature trail, and if they start killing all the animals and insects in their own environment and habitat, red flag, that show you who they are already. That's a good way to weed them out. But back to your point, this is really speaking on giving reverence to life, showing that we have lost reverence and respect for life. This need to kill everything, and is really suspect, especially smaller life forms.
There's something that cannot hurt you or cannot do anything to you, but you feel the need to wipe out its life, to stop its consciousness, that you feel to work against creation. We don't think of it that way.
No.
Like, oh, creation made this, let me get rid of it.
No, but we feel so justified. Oh, but it's in my house. Like, dude, like, your house is built in a forest. Like, why are you bugging out?
The disrespect is in direct correlation to the disrespect we have been given as humanity, men, women, and children. And we are emulating what we have allowed people to be our teachers to teach us. So back to the question, though, the same way that you speak to things when you have an infestation in your house, you have to see who's living in the house and what are they doing. What is the behavior of the ones in the house? Is it supporting life? Or is there something coming in, the termites or something coming in saying, you are not supporting life, so we're not going to support you living in this house? You know, what do they have to say to that? And are they willing to go? I have found that in most cases, things are not willing to go if you're unwilling to change. And that goes for disease. Yeah. Any kind of disease in the body. I'm speaking directly to the disease. I'm saying, I know you're here to teach a lesson. What is the lesson that they need to learn? If they learn this lesson, will you leave? They're like, yes, but they're not. We can see they're not trying to learn that lesson. So we're not leaving. And so I tell the person, well, you will need to change. You cannot remain the same and stay here, because now your new sameness includes disease. It includes infestations. It includes things that go against nature because of whatever confusion there is in the people who live in the place, their understanding of what life is.
I want to speak to that. Everything that you're saying about these different insects and even the disease, my mind keeps going back to, it is literally the intelligence of life itself.
Yes,
like
consciousness.
life consciousness. It will not stop.
No.
It has an objective.
Yes.
There's like this deeper program of this consciousness that it wants you to be right. It wants you to be correct, whatever that looks like based off of.
It is being correct. It is being correct.
And we are it, so it's like, get on board with what you are.
Yeah, it is being correct. It is lifing.
Life is lifing.
Yes. Yes.
It's so deep, but so funny at the same time. Damn. The dancing lady was dancing, the light just went off, the second light went off.
This is a great conversation. Maybe
Oh
we'll
my gosh,
revisit
so
it a day
stimulating,
and
so
look at the questions. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been really lovely. Is there anything in the chat that you'd like to share?
Looks like Julianne says thank you. And Shelly jumped in, and Lakesh Sun family. Shelly's over in the UK. Bio Pello is over in South Africa. This is hitting hard because I just moved and this space has some moldy parts. This helping me think of it in a new way. Yeah, man.
Speak to that mold. We have a lot of relationships with mold. Speak to that mold.
Yeah, it's a real thing. What she was saying about the correlation with the behaviors and the energies of the space, it's a thing.
And if you know the history of the place that you moved into with mold, that will help you. You know, clean away whatever you know took place in there.
Yeah.
A lot of drug abuse. There's a lot of mold around drug abuse.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is why, take the class, because we're dancing around some core ideas that are discussed in there, and there's real live engagement where we can communicate. It's going to be really fun, and she said she's going to teach us much differently than the last one that was in, I think, April or May.
Yes.
And then we have another comment from what's this? Andrea says, thank you for your bravery for the question about termites. So shout out to Julianne for bringing that forth.
Yes.
She says, I've been wondering, are we connected to rats? Now I know. Ask the mice, why are you here? Smiley face. Yeah, that's right.
Get quiet. We have a lot of information about that. We took one client through several sessions publicly with her mice in her house.
Yeah.
And she was horrified, but they were there to help her.
It's always the case.
Yeah.
It's like you say, everything is here to serve us, even when it doesn't look like it. It's helping you grow, like the correct, expand.
I would encourage everyone to drop whatever hatred, dislike, whatever thing you think that aspects of creation bring to you, because that's a lie. It's a lie. With whatever you think, if you think you should hate mice because they exist, that's not the truth. You think you should hate squirrels because they eat nuts, stop it. You think you should hate roaches because they're in your house, this is all incorrect. And they may, they may come to you just to correct your wrong thinking.
Right, you need to put some respect on us.
Because we will be here at the end of the world. And you may not be.
Right. All right. Well, it's been really fun here having this conversation with you, and everybody who's been participating, sharing this group collective energy. Continue to join us every Thursday, 12 noon. We'll be here doing a live stream. Me, LaOta, our camera lady, dancing lady, in Lakesh Studio One. Also visit her website, ONE.com. She does divination card pulls, the Call for the Truth divination card pulls. When's your next one? Is it on the
6th of August is the divination.
Okay, Divination, August 6th. She does free card readings virtually, and it's in a group session, and it's always good. Sometimes I'm there, so you might see me do a cameo, but I'm always gaining something from it. And she regularly does this. She also does a free evolutionary book club, which the book for next month is going to be it's a recommended reading from Of the Sun, Power versus Force from Dr. David Hawkins. And it speaks about the map of consciousness, how consciousness can be calibrated. That supports what we're talking about, where everything is consciousness. We're swimming in a sea of consciousness. It's just a little more linear and mathematical, but it's a cool book. What day is that on?
August 1st.
August 1st, so that's the first Friday, 6 p.m. Go to inlakeshstudio1.com or visit the Of the Sun website, ofthesun.com, for these classes that I mentioned that are free to the E, or many of our other introductory classes, workshops. You can also visit us for getting clearing services. You got entities attachments, you know you need some help. We got you. Who you going to call? So, you got any final thoughts before we go?
I'm just very grateful for everything, and even having this conversation revives my own level of gratitude to creation and all that we have in front of us.
Well, certainly.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Invocation Veritas. Honor, respect, gratitude, integrity, discipline, and action.
Yes.